Imagine the Indian subcontinent in the early 16th century, a land of immense diversity, both in its people and its landscapes. From the towering Himalayas in the north to the vast Deccan Plateau in the south, the subcontinent was a mosaic of cultures, languages, and traditions, a tapestry of kingdoms, each vying for power. The land was dotted with numerous small and large kingdoms, each ruled by its own dynasty, each with its own ambitions and rivalries. The Rajputs, the Sultanates, and various other regional powers were in a constant state of flux, forming alliances and waging wars. Into this arena of ambition strode a new force, the Mughals. They were not just another group of invaders, they brought with them a vision of empire that would leave an indelible mark on the subcontinent. These weren't just conquerors, they were about to build an empire that would redefine India. Their architectural marvels, administrative reforms, and cultural contributions would shape the very fabric of Indian society for centuries to come. But every story has a beginning. The roots of the Mughal Empire can be traced back to the rugged terrains and nomadic tribes of Central Asia. Ours starts not in the palaces of Delhi, but in the heart of Central Asia, a land of vast steppes, where nomadic tribes roamed freely, and where the seeds of the Mughal dynasty were sown. This is where we meet our first protagonist, Zaharuddin Muhammad Babur, a young prince with lineage tracing back to both Genghis Khan and Timur. Born in 1483 in the Fergana Valley, Babur was a descendant of two of history's greatest conquerors. He inherited not vast lands, but a thirst for conquest and a legacy of military brilliance. From a young age, Babur was driven by a desire to reclaim the glory of his ancestors. He faced numerous challenges, from rival claimants to his throne to the harsh realities of nomadic life. Little did he know, his destiny lay south across the Indus River, in the lands we now call India. The subcontinent, with its wealth and splendor, beckoned to him, promising both challenges and opportunities. The Delhi Sultanate, once mighty, was crumbling. Internal strife, weak leadership, and external threats had left it vulnerable. The once powerful empire was now a shadow of its former self, its territories fragmented and its authority challenged. A mosaic of Rajput rulers held sway, their bravery legendary but unity elusive. The Rajputs, known for their valor and chivalry, were formidable warriors. However, their internal divisions and rivalries often prevented them from presenting a united front against external threats. It was into this cauldron of power that Babur would throw himself, setting the stage for one of history's most remarkable chapters, the rise of the Mughal Empire. With determination, strategic acumen, and a vision for a unified India, Babur embarked on a journey that would change the course of history. His victories, alliances, and administrative reforms laid the foundation for an empire that would endure for over 3 centuries, leaving a legacy that continues to influence the Indian subcontinent to this day. Born in 1483, Babur's early life was a whirlwind of both triumph and tribulation. He was born into the Timurid dynasty, a lineage that traced its roots back to the great conqueror Timur. From a young age, Babur was exposed to the complexities of leadership and the harsh realities of political life. Imagine being 11 years old, inheriting a kingdom, only to lose it and spend years as a fugitive. Babur's father, Umar Sheikh Mirza, died unexpectedly, leaving the young boy to navigate the treacherous waters of Central Asian politics. The kingdom of Fergana was his by birthright, but holding on to it proved to be an entirely different challenge. That was Babur's reality in the harsh steppes of Central Asia. The vast, unforgiving landscape was both a refuge and a battleground. He faced betrayal from those he trusted and had to constantly be on the move to avoid capture. Yet, these hardships only served to strengthen his resolve and sharpen his strategic mind. But this wasn't a prince content with mere survival. Babur was determined to reclaim his birthright and carve out a legacy that would be remembered for generations. He was not just a warrior. He was a visionary leader who understood the importance of both military might and diplomatic acumen. He was a brilliant military tactician, a master of cavalry warfare, and a keen student of artillery, a new force on the Indian battlefield. Babur's understanding of these new technologies gave him a significant edge over his adversaries. His ability to adapt and innovate in the face of changing warfare dynamics was a testament to his genius. More importantly, he possessed an indomitable spirit and a vision for something greater. Babur was not content with small victories. He dreamed of building an empire that would stand the test of time. His charisma and leadership inspired loyalty among his followers, many of whom would stay with him through the most challenging times. By 1504, he had carved out a small kingdom in Kabul, Afghanistan. This was no small feat, considering the constant threats from rival factions and the need to maintain control over a diverse and often fractious population. Kabul became a base from which Babur could launch his future campaigns. Yet his eyes were drawn south towards the riches and instability of India. The subcontinent was a land of immense wealth and opportunity, but it was also plagued by internal strife and weak leadership. Babur saw an opportunity to expand his influence and fulfill his ambitions. He wasn't motivated purely by greed, though. Babur had a deep sense of destiny and believed that he was meant to achieve great things. His writings reveal a man who was both reflective and driven, someone who saw his conquests as part of a larger historical narrative. Babur saw himself as a Timurid, a successor to Timur's vast empire, and India was a jewel ripe for the taking. He believed that by conquering India, he could restore the glory of his ancestors and establish a new era of Timurid rule. This vision gave him the strength to persevere through countless challenges. His chance came when Daulat Khan Lodi, a disgruntled noble of the Delhi Sultanate, invited him to invade. This invitation was the opportunity Babur had been waiting for. With a combination of military prowess, strategic alliances, and sheer determination, he set his sights on the Indian subcontinent, ready to change the course of history. In 1524, Babur crossed the Indus River, marking the beginning of the Mughal conquest of India. His army, though smaller than his opponents, was highly disciplined and boasted superior firepower. Cannons and muskets, still relatively new to India, would prove decisive in the battles to come. His first few campaigns were swift and brutal. He captured Lahore, and then, in a display of both military might and strategic brilliance, outmaneuvered and crushed the much larger army of Ibrahim Lodi, the Sultan of Delhi, at the First Battle of Panipat in 1526. This victory wasn't just about cannons and tactics. It was about Babur's leadership, his ability to inspire his men and exploit the weaknesses of his enemies. Panipat wasn't just a battle, it was the foundation stone upon which the Mughal Empire would be built. The First Battle of Panipat wasn't just another clash of armies. It was a seismic event that changed the course of Indian history. This battle, fought on the plains of Panipat, was a turning point that would shape the subcontinent's future for centuries to come. Picture this: April 21st, 1526. The sun rises over the horizon, casting long shadows over the dusty plains. The air is filled with the sounds of preparation, the clinking of armor, the neighing of horses, and the murmurs of thousands of soldiers readying themselves for the impending conflict. The air is thick with tension as two massive armies face each other on the historic battlefield of Panipat, north of Delhi. On one side, the forces of the Delhi Sultanate, a formidable power in the region, and on the other, the invading army led by Babur, a determined and strategic leader. On one side stood Ibrahim Lodi, the Sultan of Delhi, leading a massive but poorly organized army, confident in their numerical superiority. His forces, though large, were a patchwork of various factions, each with its own loyalties and agendas, making cohesive strategy difficult. On the other side was Babur, the Timurid prince from Kabul, with a smaller but highly disciplined force equipped with cannons and muskets, still a novelty on Indian battlefields. Babur's men were battle-hardened and well-trained, having fought numerous campaigns under his leadership. Babur strategically deployed his troops, utilizing a tactic known as the tulugma, a tried-and-true Ottoman formation. This involved dividing his forces into various units that could move independently, allowing for greater flexibility and the ability to respond quickly to the changing dynamics of the battlefield. He had his flanks protected by trenches and his artillery placed strategically to maximize damage. The trenches provided cover for his soldiers, while the artillery, positioned at key points, was ready to unleash devastating firepower on the advancing enemy. The Lodi army charged head-on, only to be met with a devastating barrage of cannon fire and musket shots. The noise was deafening, the smoke from the cannons and muskets creating a thick haze that enveloped the battlefield, adding to the chaos and confusion. The battle raged for hours, but Babur's superior tactics, firepower, and disciplined troops prevailed. His soldiers, following his well-laid plans, executed maneuvers with precision, outflanking and outmaneuvering the larger but less organized Lodi forces. Ibrahim Lodi was killed, his army routed, and the Delhi Sultanate, weakened by internal strife, crumbled. The death of their leader and the disintegration of their forces marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in Indian history. The victory at Panipat wasn't just a military triumph, it was the birth certificate of the Mughal Empire. Babur's success laid the foundation for a dynasty that would rule India for over 3 centuries, leaving an indelible mark on the region's culture, architecture, and history. The Mughal Empire, with its blend of Persian, Indian, and Central Asian influences, would go on to create some of the most iconic monuments and contribute significantly to the rich tapestry of Indian heritage. Babur's reign, though short, set the stage for his descendants to build an empire that would be known for its administrative efficiency, cultural achievements, and architectural marvels. The Mughal Empire became a melting pot of cultures, where art, literature, and science flourished under the patronage of its rulers. The legacy of the First Battle of Panipat is not just in the annals of military history, but also in the gardens, palaces, and cities that the Mughals built. These structures, with their intricate designs and grandiose scale, stand as a testament to the empire's grandeur and the vision of its founders. Today, Panipat is a bustling city, but the echoes of that fateful day in 1526 still resonate. The battlefields and monuments serve as reminders of a time when the fate of a nation was decided by the clash of swords and the roar of cannons. The First Battle of Panipat remains a pivotal moment in Indian history, a testament to the power of strategy, leadership, and the indomitable human spirit.